which you like better, these or these?
Well, would you look at that? My thumbnail. This video is getting off to an incredibly great start, but carry on.
Joe, they're the same.
Hello everybody, we are back.
You know what we should do in the future, Sam? You know what we should do in the future, Sam? We should just take the video that we did yesterday and upload it again the following day.
But we did.
And then just call it...
But we did.
When?
Memes, bro.
We edit those videos, man.
Yeah, I know, but we're doing that. We're doing that every
What
week.
we should actually do
here we go,
is not even bother to edit it. We should literally just take the video that we did yesterday and then we should upload it tomorrow and just put another number next to it
Like
and say,
Skill Up does.
This is exactly like Skill Up.
So this right here is a diss on EA for their propensity to not change when it comes to their video games. Almost like they just release the same exact game every single year, year after year after year. And you know what, to an extent, absolutely justified. This is something that we've seen happen in other EA titles. So good one, very, very good one. Carry on.
Like a game has recently done, actually.
Same video, day after day, $60 a pop. Does it sound like a winning formula, Sam?
I like it. I think it's the best formula. I think it's EA formula.
So, what the hell are we talking about, ladies and gentlemen? We recently covered the new UFC 3, which is going to be coming out sometime next year. It's currently in closed beta, invitation only, and some of the gameplay has started making its way online now, as it inevitably would. We discussed earlier that they've got some pretty funky microtransactions, stuff that we really didn't expect from EA.
No, it was very strange.
The article from Astute Gamer indicates that the implementation of these microtransactions are the most egregious that they've ever seen, giving you tremendous stats boosts in their Ultimate Team mode.
Okay, so far, very good points. Another good point here, and you know, I'm not exactly a fan of the atrocious sarcasm that came with it, but very good point either way. I don't think anyone is going to seriously argue in favor of EA and their microtransactions. You hate it, I hate it, we all hate it. But it's also fair. I think it's definitely fair to point out that the microtransactions that you find in EA Sports UFC and the EA Sports UFC franchise might not be as bad as other EA games, as weird as that is to say, because it is limited to only Ultimate Team. You still have ranked mode, you still have quick match online available to gamers, and in those modes, it's your skill that wins fights, especially in ranked. But if you don't want to deal with microtransactions, which again, I want to make very clear that I am not excusing, I'm just saying if you don't want to deal with it, you can just bypass the whole entire thing and not play Ultimate Team completely. Just play ranked or quick match, where you have hundreds of fighters available to you to use and you can win fights and you don't have to pay a single thing extra to win matches in ranked. But either way, good point. Good point. We all hate microtransactions, and the hate here is definitely justified.
But now the gameplay is online, and there's a bit of hope that, you know what, if EA want to do this with their microtransactions, at least it's going to be a new game.
I agree.
Okay, so right here, we hear them talk about gameplay. Gameplay from the new EA Sports UFC game is now online, and they are implying that nothing has changed at all with gameplay. And if you imply this, it will be beneficial to your argument to show you got that right. Gameplay, right? Well, let's see what they show.
So this footage that we're about to watch comes courtesy of CYCU1 on YouTube. So all credit to that person. Thanks very much. We'll leave a link in the description below.
Yes.
And this is the comparison footage of UFC 2 to Xbox One X UFC 3. It's the best, most powerful console that you can play this game on.
That's all I heard from Xbox. Just powerful console,
right.
Powerful console. So now we get to see it.
Okay, this is it. This is what this game looks like. UFC 2 versus UFC 3. Can you spot the difference? That's what I want to know.
I actually think UFC 2 looks a bit better.
That's what everyone's saying.
I dead set.
Everyone is
even
saying.
The side, like this, like there's like more like lines in his face and shit, and
yes,
like he looks way too airbrushed in the new one.
He really does.
Unless he was like, "Hey, I want you guys to make me look super fabulous."
That's right.
Make me a pink Connor.
Fabulous.
They just airbrushed him down, and they just made it a little bit darker and a little bit blurrier. But dude, that's it. Like
that's weird, isn't it?
And like, and notice as well that they have the same sort of like victory poses, and it's like you didn't like at the beginning you saw it. It's different now at this point of the footage. But when he was walking in, it was exactly the same.
Yes.
Fighter entrance That's the gameplay you're showing your audience to support your argument that nothing has changed in EA Sports UFC 3 fighter entrance? Are you actually joking right now? First of all, let's not forget the fact that we are looking at a beta right here. The game will still undergo a lot of polish when it drops, and you can bet that there will be a graphics upgrade. But even then, to base the argument that nothing has changed in the game on a few seconds of fighter entrance footage is beyond foolish. And just goes to show that these guys sincerely have no clue what they are talking about when it comes to EA Sports UFC.
Okay, wait, there's gonna be another guy walking in now. Watch this guy. Ready?
Okay.
Wait, where is he?
They look like...
Okay, here we go. Watch this guy. Look at him. This is UFC 2 versus UFC 3. Same little jog.
Oh my
Same little jog. And he stops jogging. Stops jogging. Okay, ready? And now the camera's panning around. Same camera pan. Same angle. Okay, this is it. Okay, look, same touching up the judges.
Just
okay.
a different angle.
Wait. Okay, arms out, that's fine. It's pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, but he's
Always
doing
happens.
the same thing.
Sure.
And here the graphics is just... It's so lazy. It's so lazy, guys. Like...
It's pretty shameful. I mean, we've spoken a lot about EA and our frustrations, but we haven't really showcased the degree to which their games don't change. But they literally put out their hand and honestly ask for $60 for what is essentially a roster upgrade at best. And I don't even know if the roster upgrade is good, by the way, because I'm not a UFC fan.
Well, of course you're not a UFC fan. Of course you're not a UFC fan. That is evident. But why should your audience take anything you're saying in regards to the UFC game seriously if you're not even a UFC fan? This part right here is stumping me. I don't understand why you expect anyone to take what you're saying seriously. You're not even a fan. You don't play the game.
So I don't know if they've even done
It's
a
like
good
a
job on that
DLC, and in the DLC they're like, hey, by the way, pay $60 and we'll make the graphics worse.
They've literally downgraded them.
It looks
As you
like
can
it's
see,
worse.
the rest of this footage here, it continues on and it does a graphics comparison of 2 to 3. And it is unquestionably, so they just made it blurrier. Did you see that there?
Oh yeah, they did.
Look at this guy, see the 2 to 3? He's just blurrier. That's all they've done, you know? But this is just such evidence of how few fucks EA gives about its consumers.
Alright, I'm gonna stop playing the video right here. Honestly, everything else they say when it comes to this specific subject is just a bunch of garbage. So if you want to watch the whole entire video, I'm going to leave a link below. Go watch it if you want to watch it. But right here he says that EA doesn't care. Well, listen, maybe other EA developers don't care about what fans want. I don't know. I really don't play any other EA games. The only EA game that I really play is EA Sports UFC. So I don't know what other developers are doing. It's possible they don't listen to their fans. Definitely possible. But the EA Sports UFC developers, they do care. They do care. And I'm not saying that because EA's paying me. EA's not paying me crap. They don't pay me nothing to say this. I am under no obligation to praise EA or their developers about anything. I just hate when I see people say that the developers for EA Sports UFC don't care. They do care. They've proven that they care about the game. And you've already said that you're not a fan. You've clearly said that. You haven't played the previous game. You didn't play the beta, clearly. Because if you did, and if you played the previous game, you would know that the gameplay changes from EA Sports UFC 2 to EA Sports UFC 3 are staggering. You would know that the entire striking system was torn down and rebuilt from the ground up. And you're sitting there talking about the developers don't care? Let's see. In EA Sports UFC 1, the game was not dangerous at all. Strikes simply didn't do damage, and we all complained about that. We asked for more damage, we asked for more stopping power, we asked for more fighter reactions, and in EA Sports UFC 2, they delivered. The game was much more dangerous than UFC 1, and not just that, they implemented the most unique and innovative grappling system we've ever seen in a mixed martial arts game to date. Did the game have its flaws? Absolutely it did, just like every other game. Well-timed counters didn't do as much damage as we have wanted them to do. And the game was far too reliant on combos to do any sort of damage. And parries, oh my god, have we forgotten how atrocious parries were? How much we hated parries? How much we wanted them gone? And what did EA do? They listened. Now parries are gone. The damage system has been completely rebuilt from the ground up. Now you can stop a fight in mere seconds with well-timed counters. You can actually take up the role of a counter striker and actually do very well. What about combo multipliers? Do you guys remember that? Do you remember combo multipliers and how terrible they are? Well, they're gone. It's gone in EA Sports UFC 3. They listened and they got rid of it. which meant that the whole entire combo system had to be redone from the ground up. And not just that, every single fighter in the game for the most part is unique. You have to use them differently. Conor McGregor, for example, who was a big complaint in UFC 2, was a world beater in every single aspect of the game, including his ground game. But have you seen Conor McGregor in UFC 3? You really think you can do the things with Conor McGregor in UFC 3 that you used to be able to do in UFC 2? I challenge you to try. If you are too aggressive with Conor McGregor in UFC 3, your stamina becomes non-existent. His ground game is nowhere near as good as it was in UFC 2. Now he's actually balanced, and I am beating the brakes off him online with Evan Dunham, for example. All these fighters are unique. Every single fighter we use in the beta, for example, they were all unique. I had to use them all in different ways. You could use the fighters in different ways. You feel the difference in the fighters. Let's not forget about the entire movement system that was redone from scratch into something that's way more responsive and realistic. For you to say that nothing changed or nothing has changed in the game and that the developers are just lazy, that goes to show the height of your ignorance when talking specifically about EA Sports UFC. You might be knowledgeable when talking about other games. I'm not taking that away from you. I'm just saying when it comes to EA Sports UFC, you really have no clue what you're talking about. The controls alone are 100% different. We can strike and move in any direction we want now. And we can move and use our head at the same time, stuff that we could not do in UFC 2. So much has changed in UFC 3. Not a single top player from UFC 2 will tell you with a straight face that the game is basically the same. That's utter rubbish. Now, you guys seem like a bunch of fun-loving, reasonable lads. So my advice to you is just don't talk about crap you know nothing about. Just don't do it. You're not going to catch me talking about NFL or a basketball game. Even though I played soccer growing up, you're not gonna you won't catch me dead talking about what they need to change in a soccer game because I don't play it. I don't talk about what I don't play. Don't talk about games that you don't play, games you've not played. It makes you look foolish. Simple fact is you are quite literally clueless on the subject. As in, you know nothing about the game. You're ignorant. You're clueless. And that's the only reason you would try to sell to your audience that EA Sports UFC 3 didn't change a single thing when it could actually win an award for most dramatic, most drastic change in a video game ever. I challenge you to play UFC 2, then try to tell me that UFC 3 did not change at all. Get out of here. The controls alone would completely stump you. I understand that it's a fun thing. It's awesome to hate on EA now. It's what everyone does, you know. EA is this terrible company, the worst company in the whole entire universe. So if you're not hating on EA, then you must be getting paid by EA. You must be a shameless EA shill, as they like to say. But I like to be reasonable with stuff like this. EA, the company, they've done some shameful stuff with their microtransactions and their overall practices when it comes to making games. Absolutely, there's no doubt about that. But make no mistake, you are wrong. You are dead wrong when you say that UFC did not change at all. And for you to only show graphics as proof of that ridiculous argument just goes to show, like I've already said, you are clueless, you don't know what you're talking about on this subject. Stop it. Seriously, just stop it.